What if I told you that happiness isn't a destination you reach, but a way you choose to travel, that it's not hiding somewhere far away? It's waiting right here, in your next breath, in your next thought, in the way you choose to start this very morning. Because every single day, like clockwork, life gives you a decision. Will you wake up searching for what's missing? Or will you wake up and see what's already a miracle? Happiness doesn't come running toward you with fireworks and loud applause. It's quietly built, moment by moment, through the power of awareness and choice. And one of the greatest tools you have in that process is gratitude. Too often, we're swept into the whirlwind of daily life, deadlines, chores, stress, noise. It's like a storm that blinds us from what we already have. We forget to notice the sunlight filtering through, the window, the comfort of a warm cup in our hands, or even the soft rhythm of our breath reminding us we're alive. But the moment you pause, just for a second, and choose to notice those gifts, your entire world begins to shift. You start seeing life not as a list of problems, but a collection of blessings. That shift? It's not small. It's life-changing. It's not about owning more, achieving more, or reaching some magical milestone. It's about realizing that the very fact your heart is beating, that you get one more sunrise, one more chance, is already enough to be thankful for. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good emotion. It's a discipline, a muscle you train daily. Some people keep a small journal and write down 3 things they're thankful for before they even brush their teeth. Others simply close their eyes for 30 seconds and silently whisper, "Thank you," to life before the day begins. It doesn't matter how you do it. What matters is that you do it consistently. Because the more you teach your brain to seek out the good, the more good it starts to notice. And on days when it feels like everything's crashing down, when you're exhausted, anxious, or overwhelmed, gratitude becomes your anchor. Not because it erases the pain, but because it reminds you, even here, even now, there is still something worth holding on to. Maybe it's a smile from someone who cares. Maybe it's the breeze brushing past your window. Maybe it's the strength you showed just by getting through yesterday. And this isn't just poetic, it's science. Research shows that regularly practicing gratitude boosts your brain's natural supply of serotonin and dopamine, your inner mood elevators. It lowers stress, eases anxiety, and builds resilience. Gratitude isn't just a spiritual practice, it's brain training. And by choosing it every morning, you're not only lifting your spirit, you're rewiring your mind for long-term joy. And it doesn't stop with how you feel inside. The ripple effect of gratitude touches your relationships, your energy, and your ability to face life with open eyes and a stronger heart. When you begin your morning rooted in gratitude, something powerful begins to unfold. It not only transforms how you see life, it reshapes how you treat the people around you. You see, when you truly appreciate the people in your life, the ones who stand by you in quiet moments or lift you in loud, visible ways, you naturally start to treat them with more care. Kindness becomes easier, patience becomes deeper, and understanding becomes second nature. A simple thank you. A look that says, "I see what you did." A small gesture that acknowledges someone's effort. These aren't just polite habits. They're emotional bridges, and they ripple outward, strengthening bonds, building trust, and spreading quiet joy. When you start your day with a grateful heart, that energy follows you. It colors every word, every reaction, every encounter. It doesn't just make you feel better inside. It makes you more present in your relationships, more empathetic, more alive. But let's be honest, our minds often default to the opposite. They're wired to spot what's missing, what needs fixing, what hasn't happened yet. If we're not careful, we wake up already racing against time, chasing after something we think will complete us. And that mindset? It robs us of the peace that's already available. But what if you chose a different way? What if you began each morning not by reaching, but by receiving? Not by searching, but by seeing? The moment you wake up and recognize what you already have, something shifts. You stop feeling like you're falling behind. You start feeling full of appreciation, full of awareness, full of the understanding that happiness isn't something you get to someday. It's something you grow today. Some of the happiest people you'll ever meet don't live in luxury or have picture-perfect lives, but they see what matters. They see joy in a shared meal. They feel rich in the laughter of a child. They notice beauty in ordinary sunlight pouring across a floor. You can have everything and still feel empty if you don't value any of it. But if you learn to treasure what's already in your hands, even a little becomes more than enough. Because joy doesn't depend on having more. It depends on seeing more. And the more you train your mind to notice the good, the more good you begin to attract. Joy isn't what shows up when life finally becomes perfect. It's what rises up when you choose to love life, even when it's messy, even when plans go sideways, even when nothing feels certain. Far too many people postpone their joy. They say, "I'll be happy when I get that job. When I have more money, when I find someone who understands me." But life doesn't wait, and perfection? That's an illusion with no finish line. If happiness is always waiting on something else to be just right, you'll spend your whole life chasing it and never catching it. True joy isn't waiting in some perfect future. It lives here now, in how you respond to what's in front of you. It's in your decision to laugh, even when you feel tired, to give, even when you're unsure, to pause and appreciate, even in the middle of chaos. The most joyful people aren't the ones who have flawless lives. They're the ones who've learned how to smile in the middle of imperfection, to breathe deeply in uncertainty, to say, "This is enough," even when the story still has unfinished pages. True joy, as we've seen, doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It shows up when you stop chasing perfection and start embracing the beauty of being human. The most joyful people aren't the ones who have it all figured out. They're not the ones whose lives are polished or flawless. They're the ones who don't let small inconveniences steal their peace. They don't obsess over what's missing. Instead, they choose to see what's already good. They don't let the fear of failing keep them stuck because they understand something powerful. Life is about progress, not perfection. Perfectionism is one of the most subtle but dangerous traps to happiness. It whispers lies like, "You're not enough until you look like them. You can't be proud until you've done more. You're not worthy unless everything goes exactly right." And those whispers? They create a storm of stress, anxiety, and self-doubt. Chasing perfection creates a life of pressure. People begin to measure their worth based on impossible standards. They think they need the perfect job, the perfect body, the perfect relationship, before they can feel happy. But here's what they don't realize. While they're waiting for life to be perfect, they're missing the moments that actually make life meaningful. They hesitate to try something new, because what if it doesn't go as planned? They downplay their wins because they don't seem big enough. They compare themselves endlessly, never feeling like they measure up. But choosing joy over perfection, that's the breakthrough. It's choosing to show up anyway, to laugh at the mess, to celebrate progress, even when it's messy. It's knowing that mistakes don't make you broken, they make you real. They teach. They shape. They show you're growing. True joy is not found in flawless execution. It's found in presence. It's found in choosing to smile in the middle of the unknown, to dance when life feels uncertain, to breathe and say, "This is enough for now." When you embrace the journey, not just the end goal, you begin to see that happiness is not a reward you earn. It's a state you step into, moment by moment. How many people spend their lives chasing someday? I'll be happy when I get promoted. I'll be happy when I find the right person. I'll be happy when I make more money. But then what happens? They reach the goal, and happiness slips through their fingers. It's brief, unsatisfying, and suddenly, they're on to the next chase. It becomes an endless cycle, a race without a finish line, and all the while, joy remains out of reach. Because joy was never hiding in the destination. It was waiting in the pause, in the breath, in the choice to be grateful now. The most joyful people don't wait for perfection. They create joy in imperfect moments. They laugh at their own silly mistakes. They cheer for small victories like they won the lottery. They treasure deep conversations, quiet walks, the peace of a slow morning. They sit with gratitude, even when life feels a little uncertain. They don't delay joy for a future that may never arrive. They know happiness isn't something you chase. It's something you create. But joy isn't just about your inner choices. It's also shaped by what surrounds you, every person you meet, every space you enter, every conversation you have. It all carries energy. Some energy lights you up, inspires you, fuels your passion. Other energy weighs you down, exhausts you, drains the color out of your day. So as you protect your joy, ask yourself, who and what am I allowing into my space? If joy begins with your mindset, it flourishes in the environment you choose. Because happiness isn't created in isolation. It's shaped by what surrounds you, the people you interact with, the content you consume, the spaces you live and work. In all of it, every piece of your environment feeds into how you think, feel, and show up in the world. There are people whose presence feels like sunlight. They light up a room, not with noise, but with warmth. They uplift, they encourage, they remind you of who you are and who you could become. Spending time with them feels like taking a deep breath after being underwater. These are the ones who celebrate your wins, big or small. They support you when life gets heavy. They see potential in you, even on the days you doubt yourself. And no, they're not perfect. But their mindset leans toward optimism, growth, and light. Being around people like this, it's like plugging your soul into a source of positive energy. They don't just brighten your mood, they elevate your entire perspective. Even when life throws challenges your way, their presence makes it easier to stay grounded in hope. But let's be honest, not everyone in your circle carries that kind of light. There are also people whose energy feels heavy. You walk away from conversations with them feeling drained, not uplifted. They complain more than they appreciate. They spot problems in every opportunity. They magnify drama and dismiss dreams. They may not even realize the energy they bring, but over time, their presence wears on you. When you're constantly surrounded by voices that echo doubt, negativity, and resistance, even the strongest spirit can start to dim. And this isn't about blaming others for how you feel. It's about understanding how energy transfers. Because happiness is not only an internal decision, it's also deeply influenced by what you invite into your space. So if you truly want to protect your joy, you must be intentional about your environment. That doesn't mean cutting everyone out or turning your back on long-term relationships. But it does mean setting boundaries. It means being honest about which connections lift you up and which ones slowly pull you down. Sometimes it means gently stepping back from relationships that have turned toxic, even if they've been in your life for years. Other times, it's as simple as limiting your exposure, choosing peace over unnecessary conflict. And it's not just people. Negativity seeps in from everywhere, especially through media. Think about it. What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to, scrolling through, engaging with? If your mental diet is constantly fed with anger, fear, and outrage from the news, social media, or toxic conversations, it starts to shape your outlook on life. But if you shift the input, if you surround yourself with inspiring stories, thoughtful ideas, and uplifting voices, you begin to build a world within you that reflects peace, possibility, and purpose. This isn't about ignoring reality or living in denial. It's about choosing what deserves space in your mind and heart. And let's not forget your physical space, where you spend your time, the room you sleep in, the desk where you work, even the state of your living room. It all contributes to your mental state. A cluttered, chaotic environment creates mental fog. It silently adds stress. It makes it harder to relax, to focus, to feel like you're in control. But a tidy, organized, peaceful space? It gives your nervous system room to breathe. It nurtures clarity and calm. So yes, your joy is your choice, but it's also your responsibility to protect it, to be mindful of the people, places, and messages you let into your world. Because energy is contagious, and the environment you build, externally and internally, will either fuel your happiness or quietly drain it away. Just like the energy of a cluttered, chaotic space can weigh on your spirit, a peaceful, uplifting environment can become a quiet force behind your happiness. When your surroundings feel clean, intentional, and full of life, it shifts something within you. Even small changes can breathe new energy into your space and, in turn, your soul. A few houseplants, soft music that stirs your heart, colors on the wall that remind you of peace, warmth, or hope. These aren't trivial choices. They're acts of emotional architecture, deliberate decisions to build a space where your spirit can rise. And when you're surrounded by that kind of energy, staying positive doesn't feel like a battle. It becomes your baseline. You're no longer fending off negativity from every corner. Instead, you've created a sanctuary, inside and out, that supports your joy. What's more, the energy you put out begins to echo back. Positivity attracts positivity. Light attracts light. The more you intentionally cultivate an uplifting environment, the more naturally happiness begins to flow through your life. It's no longer forced, it's felt. And it's not just about decor or design. It's about the mindset that space inspires. So often, we're taught that happiness comes from what we achieve, a new milestone, a financial win, a shiny success story, but real fulfillment. It rarely comes from what you get. It comes from what you give, because there's something profoundly human about contribution. When you realize that your words, your presence, your simple kindness can make someone else's day a little brighter, that changes everything. And here's the beautiful part. Giving doesn't have to be grand or expensive. In fact, the smallest acts of kindness often carry the deepest impact. A smile to a stranger? A text that says, "I'm thinking of you." A few patient minutes to really listen when someone needs to be heard. These are the moments that linger. These are the gifts that ripple. But to truly embrace the joy of giving, we have to shift something at the root, our mindset. So many people live from a place of scarcity. They believe life is a competition, that there's not enough success, not enough love, not enough happiness to go around. So they grab, they hoard, they protect. But those who live with an abundance mindset, they know a deeper truth. They understand that lifting someone else up doesn't push them down. That kindness doesn't make you weaker. That generosity doesn't empty you, it fills you. True abundance isn't measured by what you own. It's felt in the freedom to give without fear, to help without hesitation, to love without keeping score. And when you start seeing the world this way, you begin to realize that happiness grows fastest when it's shared. Now let's be clear. Giving more than you take doesn't mean neglecting yourself. It doesn't mean saying yes to everything or putting your well-being last. It means choosing to live from a place of generosity, not depletion. It means knowing there's enough and choosing to share it. And often, the most powerful gifts don't cost a thing. You don't need a fat wallet to make a real difference. Sometimes, the most meaningful form of giving is presence. A quiet, "I believe in you," a reassuring hand on someone's shoulder, an open ear for someone carrying a heavy heart. These are not small gestures. They're soul medicine. They remind someone that they're seen, that they're not alone, that kindness still exists, and it just showed up in you. So if you're searching for joy that lasts, stop asking, "What can I get?" and start asking, "What can I give?" Because in the end, it's not what you hold in your hands that fulfills you. It's the light you leave in the lives of others. Generosity doesn't require grand gestures. In fact, some of the most life-changing acts are the smallest ones. A kind word, a few minutes of your undivided time, a smile to a stranger who looks like they've forgotten how it feels to be seen. You. See, when you take a moment to lift someone else up, especially someone who's hurting, uncertain, or simply unseen, you create a spark, a heartfelt compliment, an encouraging message, silent presence next to someone who's breaking. These aren't just acts of kindness. They're reminders to the soul that someone still cares, that humanity still exists. And perhaps the most precious gift you can ever offer someone is your time. Time is finite. You don't get it back. That's what makes it sacred. When you choose to spend your time helping, listening, or simply being fully present, you're giving something that no amount of money could ever replace. And often, that quiet act of presence means more to someone than anything you could buy or say. And here's what's fascinating. Giving doesn't only bless the one who receives, it transforms the one who gives. Scientific studies show that generosity triggers the brain's reward system. Acts of kindness release dopamine and serotonin, those same feel-good chemicals tied to happiness and well-being. Giving literally lights up the brain. It reduces stress. It deepens connection. It increases life satisfaction in a way that possessions never could. Because when you give without expecting anything back, when the gesture is pure, you activate something greater. You create a ripple effect. One moment of compassion can inspire another. One act of selflessness can restore someone's hope. A single gesture may change the course of someone's day, or even their life. You may never know the full impact of your kindness. You may never hear the story of how your words helped someone hold on. But that's the beauty of giving. Its true power often unfolds quietly, invisibly, far beyond your awareness. And the truth is, a life built around giving more than taking doesn't leave you empty. It fills you in ways that numbers can't measure. You begin to notice deeper meaning in everyday moments. Relationships become richer. Opportunities begin to align, and most importantly, you begin to feel an unshakable sense of peace, because when you know that your presence has made even one corner of the world a little brighter, that's a kind of success no paycheck can match. Still, too many people place happiness somewhere out in the future. They say things like, "I'll be happy when I land that job. I'll feel joy when I hit that goal." Always postponing peace. Always delaying joy. But here's the truth. True happiness never lives in someday. It only ever lives in the now. Happiness isn't waiting for everything to fall into place. It's waiting for you to open your eyes and realize this moment, flawed, ordinary, unpredictable, is enough. The present moment is the only space where real life exists. Not in the regrets of yesterday, not in the fears of tomorrow, right here. Yet so many people miss it. They live in their minds, replaying mistakes, worrying about what's next. They rush through each day like it's just a means to an end. But you can't rewrite the past, and you can't control the future. What you do have, fully and completely, is this moment. And when you finally learn to live inside it, you begin to experience life in its raw, unfiltered beauty. You notice the colors. You feel the laughter deeper. You connect more fully. you begin to truly live. So if you're chasing happiness, stop looking ahead and start looking around. Because what you're searching for isn't waiting for you in some distant future. It's already here, wrapped in the simplicity of now. When you stop chasing what's next, you begin to notice what's already here. And in that quiet noticing, life begins to come alive. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sparkle in a loved one's laugh, the way music makes your shoulders move without permission, the taste of a home-cooked meal savored slowly. These aren't just background details, they are life, unfolding in real time. But here's the truth, they can only bring you joy if you're truly there to experience them. One of the biggest barriers to presence is our habit of living somewhere else, either in the past or the future. So many people carry the weight of old mistakes and past pain. They replay what they said. They relive what they should have done. They wish they could rewind the clock and do things differently. But what does that do? It keeps them trapped in stories that no longer serve them. Yes, the past holds lessons, but it's not your identity. It's not your sentence. It's not your final chapter. Every moment you live in the past, you forfeit the joy of this one. And you don't need to keep dragging yesterday into today, because today is offering you something new, a clean page, a fresh decision. The past can't be rewritten, but your future? It's still in your hands, and it starts by choosing to be present right now. Then there's the other extreme, worrying about what's next. People spend so much mental energy rehearsing worst-case scenarios. What if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? Planning is wise, dreaming is beautiful, but obsessing over the future steals your peace and distracts you from the one place you're truly alive, the now. You can't control what hasn't happened yet. You can prepare. You can hope. But at some point you have to let go, because no amount of worry will change what's to come. But presence? It will change how you live through it. Being present isn't just about physically showing up. It's about mentally and emotionally arriving too. Ever been at dinner, but your mind is scrolling your to-do list? Sat in a beautiful place, but couldn't? Stop thinking about deadlines? Talk to someone you love, but your thoughts were somewhere else entirely? We all do it. But when attention is divided, life becomes diluted. Moments lose their flavor. Conversations lose their magic, and connection becomes a little more distant. Presence is the antidote. When you practice presence, you give your full self to the moment. You truly hear the person in front of you. You feel the joy in a shared laugh. You notice the small things that make this life worth living. You become more connected, more grounded, more awake. And as you do, something powerful happens. You realize that you don't need more to be happy. You just need to be here. Gratitude is what ties it all together. It's the anchor that pulls you back when your mind starts drifting. When you focus on what you do have, what's right in front of you, you stop chasing what's missing. You realize that the moment you're in is already enough. That happiness isn't hidden in the next big thing. It's in the now, in the breath, in the beauty of simplicity, in the love you already feel and the blessings already surrounding you. Gratitude teaches your mind to stay here, grounded in what is instead of grasping for what might be. And the more you practice it, the more joy becomes your natural state. Not because life is perfect, but because you've learned to pay attention to it. So the next time your mind starts wandering, bring it back. Look around. Listen. Feel. Because the miracle you're waiting for might already be happening right now. The more we learn to slow down and stay present, the more we realize happiness has never been out there. It's been quietly waiting, right here, in the now. Joy doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it's in the softest moments, the echo of shared laughter with a friend, the warmth of a hug that says, "You're not alone," the peace in a quiet breath, taken just for you. These are the sacred seconds that life gives us, not someday, not somewhere far away, but right now. And the more fully you show up in these moments, eyes open, heart awake, the more happiness begins to feel like a natural state, not a reward you have to earn. But there's another key that unlocks joy on a deeper level. Self-love. Self-love is not a luxury. It's not vanity. It's not selfish. It's the foundation of real, lasting happiness. It's in the way you speak to yourself when no one's listening. It's in how gently you treat yourself. On hard days, it's in how much space you allow yourself to simply be, without performance, without pressure. So many people look outside of themselves for happiness, in achievements, approval, relationships, praise. But here's the truth. If you don't love the person you are on the inside, nothing external will ever feel like enough. You could be surrounded by applause, achieve all your goals, and still feel hollow. If the relationship you have with yourself is broken. Loving yourself isn't arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about recognizing that you're human and treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion you so easily offer to others. And yet, so often, we become our own harshest critics. We say things to ourselves we'd never say to a friend. You're not good enough. You should be doing more. You're such a failure. We set impossible standards, tear ourselves down for every flaw, and punish ourselves for being imperfect. But how can happiness grow in an environment poisoned by self-rejection? It simply can't. Self-love begins the moment you stop beating yourself up for being human. It's understanding that your flaws don't make you unworthy. Your mistakes don't cancel your value. Your imperfections aren't proof that you're broken. They're proof that you're alive. Growth isn't linear. Healing takes time. You don't need to have it all figured out to be deserving of peace and happiness today. And the voice you use inside your head? It matters. Because when your inner dialogue shifts from criticism to compassion, from doubt to encouragement, your whole inner world begins to change. You create a space within where joy can finally breathe, where your soul can rest, where you feel safe enough to grow. And self-love isn't just words. It's how you show up for yourself every day. Yes, eat well, move your body, get enough sleep. But beyond that, allow yourself to rest without guilt. Say no without explanation. Set boundaries that protect your peace, and most importantly, stop apologizing for taking care of yourself. So many people feel guilty for slowing down, for saying I need time, for putting their well-being first. But here's the truth, you can't pour into others from an empty cup. When you take care of yourself, you're not just doing it for you. You're showing up stronger, healthier, more whole for the people who need you most. Self-love also means releasing the need for constant validation. It means knowing your worth doesn't depend on how others see you, how many likes you get, or whether everyone approves. Your value isn't earned, it's already yours. And when you believe that deep down, you stop chasing love and start being it. Opening, gentle transition from page 8. When you learn to love yourself from within, you no longer need the world to constantly remind you that you're enough. You already know it. Too often, we base our self-worth on how others see us, how many compliments we receive, how much attention we attract, how much approval we gain from those around us. But the truth is, external validation is never consistent. One day, you might be praised, the next, criticized. One moment, you feel seen, the next, forgotten. If your happiness depends on the opinions of others, you'll always be on unstable ground, forever chasing something that keeps slipping through your fingers. But true self-love, it's unshakable. It means knowing your worth even when no one's clapping. It means validating yourself without waiting for someone else to do it first. And here's something that's often overlooked. Forgiving yourself is one of the most powerful acts of self-love. We've all stumbled. We've all made decisions we wish we could undo. We've all said things, done things, or left things unsaid. But holding on to guilt, shame, or regret, it weighs you down like emotional chains, and happiness can't grow where punishment still lives. To forgive yourself is to say, I am human, I am learning, I am growing. It's choosing to carry the lesson forward, not the pain. It's letting go of self-blame so wisdom has room to rise, because your past doesn't define your future unless you let it. Loving yourself also means choosing who you allow into your life. The people you surround yourself with have a powerful impact on how you feel about the world and about yourself. Are they lifting you up, respecting your boundaries, celebrating your growth, or are they dimming your light, doubting your dreams, making you feel small? If you're constantly around people who drain you, who challenge your worth, or who don't support your evolution, self-love becomes harder to maintain. That's why choosing relationships that nurture your peace isn't selfish. It's necessary. You deserve to be in spaces where you feel valued, where you feel safe, where you are encouraged to grow into the best version of who you are. Self-love is not something you arrive at one day. It's not a checkbox you tick. It's a practice, a daily devotion. It's waking up and choosing to speak to yourself with kindness. It's honoring your needs instead of pushing them aside. It's allowing yourself to feel joy without needing to earn it first. You are worthy of happiness, not because of your accomplishments, not because of how productive you are, but simply because you exist. That's it. That's enough. Happiness isn't something to chase. It's something you cultivate, nurture, and choose, moment by moment. You find it in the way you guard your energy, in the way you give more love than you take, in how deeply you engage with the life that's unfolding in front of you. Happiness lives in the relationships you build, in the gratitude you practice, and most of all, in the love you consistently show yourself. True happiness has nothing to do with perfection, praise, or possessions. It has everything to do with the quiet choices you make every day. Choosing presence over perfection, gratitude over lack, connection over comparison. And when you commit to living this way, when you surround yourself with love, give without expectation, and speak to yourself with compassion, happiness stops being a destination and becomes a way of being. If this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of the beauty in the simple, the power in being present, and the joy that's already within you, then don't let it end here. Like this video to keep the message alive. Subscribe and turn on the bell, because each week we share real stories, honest reflections, and soulful reminders to help you rise. Share this video with someone who might be searching for hope today. You never know how far one small act of kindness can go. This is more than just a channel. This is a movement, a reminder that happiness isn't out there. It starts right here, with you. Motivation Hub Rise. We rise together, one breath, one choice, one grateful moment at a time.